The Story of Sandy Point, Episode 11. Greetings. Based on our frequency of posting, this is long overdue, mainly due to technical and other challenges. To our followers long awaiting these installments, we thank you for your patience and understanding. For the 11th installment of The Story of Sandy Point, our spotlight is on Charles Fort, aka the Lazaretto, aka the Hanson Home, located behind the Catholic Cemetery at the top of Cleverly Hill as we enter Sandy Point from the east. First, we acknowledge the support and cooperation of the management of the St. Christopher National Trust for granting access to this particular heritage site. And if I may mention, much of the resource material is found at the museum at the National Trust. My name is Sylvester Hodge Socrates, presenting on the behalf of the Sandy Point Heritage Society, a self-help non-profit organization aimed at researching, documenting, preserving, presenting, and telling the story of Sandy Point for posterity. Many nationals have never been to Brimstone Hill, much less Charles Fort, aka also known as the Lazaretto or the Hanson Home. This, of course, includes many Sandy Pointers, even though it's in our own backyard. In our continuing efforts to tell as much of the story of Sandy Point as possible, we've engaged Mr. Malcolm Govaya, an employee of the Hanson Home from 1973 to the time of its closure in 1996, not only to give us a guided tour of the facility, but to share with us his recollections of the daily operations at the home during his tenure. As a result, we've learned many fascinating things which we now endeavor to share with you. Here is Mr. Govaya.
I am Malcolm Govaya, Sandy Point, and I took over the Hanson Home from Mr. Roy Warner, who was the then manager. I came and I spent 24 years at the Hanson Home as the manager. I had 6 workers, including myself. There was a nurse, a cook, a maid, a washer, and an orderly. I met 9 patients at the Hanson Home when I took over from Mr. Warner. There were 5 male.
Do you recall what year that was?
I think it was 73 I come here.
73?
Yeah.
Okay.
Either 73, 75, one of those to time.
And there were like 9 patients at the time?
9 patients.
Right.
There was 5 male and 4 female. And the building were cut in halves. In other words, you had a male section and a female section. There's a fencing that when people come to the relative, they could not pass the first gate. They had
The first gate?
Yes.
They could not pass here?
No, they could not.
So they would have to sit out there?
Yes, and the
And
other step out the other there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
So the inmates would be on the other side, so there'd be a separation.
Yes.
And if they brought things for them to speak to them, how would that work?
Well, they will talk like they're down there. And the relatives out here and the patient down there, accompanied with the orderly. So they could not.
So they brought food for them?
Whatever, whether food or monetary to them. So they could not physically touch each other or anything. They say it was catching.
It was contagious?
Yes, so they didn't want to, spread it.
So visitation was
restricted.
monitored,
Yes,
restricted.
Restricted.
This was
yes.
where they stayed.
Yes.
Left whatever, a conversation.
Until
Inmates will be at that end with the guard security, and
yes,
that's how they interact.
and then the family up here.
Family up here.
Yes.
Okay, you said there was a barbed wire fencing?
Yes. And either side go right to the church.
Go straight to the church.
And the same way. And go right across so far. Leslie Paul had a piece of land here too. See them? You see they got the hooks?
Okay, so the barbed wire fencing were connected to these.
Yes.
When they says Father Church, which is the
Yes.
church, and the same here. So it was actually cordoned off from the public.
Exactly. He'd made a will where he was a patient to Oak. And they changed it from Hanson Home. No, from Leper Home to Hanson Home because this was the benefactor towards the
That was
home.
his name?
Yes.
Okay.
He had Hansen disease, but he was a leper.
Yes.
At the time when he was like to die, he made a will and he left a good sum of money towards the government here. So another country where had leprosy place in the Caribbean,
Yes.
he donate.
Okay, so this plaque
Yes, was in his honor.
was
In his honor.
because the gratitude of
Yes,
the inmates
yes, of the home.
of the Hanson home through the
Benefactor,
benefactor
yes.
Wilfred
Duncan
Duncan Thompson,
Thompson, yes.
who bequeathed generously
To
the institution at his
his
death
death.
in
Trinidad.
Trinidad, 12th July
I think
1966.
66. That was a storeroom there for food there.
On to Mr. Govaya, this was the store house for food items.
Yes. Now,
Are we speaking about the second function of this institution? It was first built for the purpose of a military installation to defend against the French and the Spanish. Built by the British, it took about 11 years to build. And later on, we'll go down by the wall and show you where the ships would have passed.
yes.
And it was said that once they got up there, they would slow down. The current would cause them slow down, so it would be easier for them to hit from this institution. It was really built in answer to when the French actually routed the British off St. Kitts. They had to run to Nevis for rescue. When they came back, they built this to replace Fort Charles in Old Road and Fort, the other one in Sandy Point. I'm gonna get the name later on. So from the storeroom, they came in, the storeroom was here. Fine.
This here was like we used to have their decoration, right? Yes.
What was here?
Man, you should have been here too when they used to have the TV. Here was the first place, incidentally, had a TV in St. Kitts. Hundreds of Sunny Point
Say
people
again?
used to come here.
No, no.
Serious,
Is this
no, serious.
You're saying, Mr. Govaya,
Yes, sir.
that here at the Hanson home,
Yes.
this was the first place
Had a TV in
and
St.
had
Kitts.
television in
Yes,
St. Kitts.
in St. Kitts.
And hundreds of persons.
From Sandy Point area.
You used to come in here?
Far forward when they got vaccine, right? They go down your full. The man they donated. They bring
So
from
if
England.
they were not allowed to associate with the
No,
inmates,
that time thing quiet down.
things quite down.
Yes,
Nobody
you
know.
had the Dapsone tablet and a Ferinos tablet, and after the start taking that, you didn't get no leper. The last person, I will call the name, was a girl from Taba, named Joycelyn Julius. She get leprosy. Doctor had gave me a tin of the Dapsone for her. Use a
Macmillan
quarter.
Lodge.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but he was, whoever, and incidentally, whoever happened
To be the medical superintendent.
also here too.
That is
To
correct.
get a salary for here.
That is correct.
It was very small, 250.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
This was the first place in St. Kitts that
Had a TV. The man Warren, where was the factory manager, he was very helpful to them. If they said they want a donkey, well, I'll bring the donkey news to you.
Uh-huh.
They used to use the donkey to go to Sandy Point and get the medication and bring it back here.
So
A donkey. Donkey was Ned.
Was it Toyota? Ha!
Ned.
Ned was named Ned.
Ned.
This is interesting information.
Yeah. So here now, when they got the movies and thing, you got the male over here and the female there.
They were segregated.
You see this? You see this?
Yeah.
The whole thing come right down.
Separating the...
The male from the female. So no male could have go over, so, and no female could have go
This
over.
was the female section.
Yes.
And
The
this
female.
on your right would be the male section.
Yes.
There's a question as to why these houses have been able to survive even in their condition. And most of the houses for the male has been destroyed. I have a theory.
Well, my understanding, these built after.
They were built after?
Yes. These were houses that some of them went down. You see that? You see those walls?
Yes.
They had houses. But then, as I tell you, like anything else, the thing. So, you see that wall there again? You see like how you got those things up there? The whole area had.
Okay. And up here would be what?
The nurses' quarters.
The nurses' quarters.
Yes. The other one named Ruby Slack.
Roughly how many nurses would there be here?
One.
One nurse?
Yes.
Wow. One nurse assigned to, you say when you were here there were like 17 patients?
No. I meant 9.
9.
4 female and 5 male. Yeah, this was the nurse area.
And there was one stationary nurse mentor.
Yes, one at the time.
Were there uniforms at one point?
Yes. They used to get £3 a year and 3 shirts.
3 pants per year, 3 shirts.
Yes.
And of course, the ladies got the tunics.
Yes, it was happening.
So we have on our left the
And you won't believe, it had a man named Zacchaeus Walwyn, right? He was brother to Ira Walwyn, and the other
those are
one
big
was-
names, man. Those big shots in
Yes,
the
I
country.
want to tell you,
Yeah.
he was a head teacher, and he get evicted, he had come here. But he was the one who used to build the clothes, good tailor, do a lot of tailoring for people outside. But after that, you know, things didn't come so good. That man, the man used to, I could get you about choker, you know. Choker,
Remember
if he
choker?
went in back, he had a noise from your tongue,
Uh-huh.
and he was a shutter, right? And one I said, no, you're going to come in the morning for your reading back.
Left his reading box.
Let me read it back.
When you want to come back,
Yes.
you gotta go up here. So all this here was part of the nurse's quarters here, right?
Yes,
And I guess that was the shower.
yes.
And the soon because we see the
You could see the toilet with the
Yeah.
toilet thing. No, there was a gun. Section of them thing.
placements.
Yes,
Going back to when the time this was a
the fort then.
Fort.
Yeah. All here used to be in food afterward. And then another.
gardens.
Oh, garden all around, man. Man did buy
So they sort of helped to provide their own food.
their own food. And also
Then
it
here, no? This was the female section.
yes,
That was the male section.
yes.
Who planted the food because the male couldn't come over here.
Yeah, but then they elderly with them too.
Oh,
So they will come. I tell you why we had the thing well set up.
Where they were supervised,
Yes.
and that's where they.
A lot of stones. You see, everybody had their own plot. He had a young fella did born here, and they carried him to the hospital in Sandy Point, where he stayed there, and he had the family them in a way. And he went to America and become a doctor in Washington. That is before me time, you know, but then from the books. All these was home patient used to be. You had one patient to eat somebody. So this was cut in two. You know, you could see the middling, that they cut in two. So you had one woman and another woman.
About the 1, 2, 3, 4. They had 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 structures on this side.
Yeah,
These were
And you
mainly
had- and you
female.
had-
This is number 10.
yes. And then you had a patient in that and a patient in that. The one used to hold 3 rooms, that big one.
Okay. So some were single units and some were multiple.
And then see you got another one for 3 too. Yeah, I was telling you when you wasn't here, there was a male child born here, Washington. Washington. And his parents took him and carried him to America, right? And he became a doctor.
Born here.
Born here in the Hanson home.
So
Carried to the Paxson.
we're assuming that his mother came in pregnant.
No. The child was belonged to a man named Wilson.
But you told me that there was segregation
Now, this way
between.
you must keep your answer and tell you more things. You know a clear one from the Tatola. She didn't name Delwyn. She used to down by them Woodrow people. A clear woman. She did
She was a patient here also?
Yes. And she was living on the other side.
Okay, like Sam and.
Good. She was
Spanish.
over there.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then when she was in here, one named Benjamin Brown and he was John. And he,
Should make-
and he
told you.
sex her and
Uh-huh.
beat her with a body key the thing.
Beat her.
And Sebastian gave him 21 days hard labor up in the same prison, I show you.
Sebastian was who at the time? The magistrate?
But he was the superintendent in Sunny Point.
Okay. Alright, so he got her pregnant
Yes,
and so the child was born here.
yes.
And the administration sent him away to the States and he became a doctor, medical doctor.
Well, most likely that happened. But he did become a doctor. Who may know his parents might be the woman Heiliger.
Prisco Heligo?
Yeah, I think so. But he went to the States, man. Come doctor. But yeah, they used to get punished. Anytime they catch them, they punish them.
There was a prison here, right?
Yes, up
we'll
here,
come on to
I'll
that.
show you.
So this is one of the buildings that house. Is there 3 or more?
3. And the last patient that come from in here, she went to Cardin home and she died.
Yeah,
She
the
was
Cardin
a
home.
sister to the same spanner.
So you could,
She named Olive
you
Pale.
could just look and come on to meet him. You need to
Yeah.
come up here because this construction is of a foundation of the stone headstones. Flooring is of wood, as is the main structure of the building. This is the same, well, some, like those up there, made of concrete, you were saying that these would be a later construction.
Yes.
And that is why they're standing still, and those on the male side are no longer. with
Because
us.
it was wood and them
And these
structure.
like this one?
Yes, yes.
So this might
And
be one
like
of the
the
last,
one too, the one had wood.
okay, this might be one of the last remaining wooden structure.
Yes.
I'll take a picture of this. You can study, take a picture of you up there. We're looking at what is, in fact, one of the last remaining wooden structure of the buildings
Yeah.
designed to for the inpatients, those who
Yeah.
live here
Yes.
at the Hanson home. Mr. Governor explained that the buildings up on the left, we're counting 4 of them, they are still standing to a very large extent, but they were built at a later stage and they are made of concrete.
Yeah.
Whereas the one behind us is made of
Wood. Lumber.
wood and galvanized roofing. The last remaining one, I don't know if there's any way we can gauge the age of it, but the others, we're seeing the foundation of those buildings here is 1, 2, 3, 4. You can get long shots of these buildings. Noticeable is the wall. All around.
Well, that was some new work. That was done during my time.
This.
Yes.
What talking about?
Got a lot of things out there behind.
A lot of erosion.
Yeah, man.
So the erosion, so we at the cliff.
Yeah.
We can hear the water and the background. So this section of wall was built, as you said, during your time. You started to work in 1970 something, and this was one that they built. This is another view of that out there. Beautiful. I'm looking at one of the best sits. This best sit would reflect here one of the patients
Yeah.
would have used as a bed.
Yeah.
And this now.
Somebody put a monkey top. Maybe one of the workers put
Okay.
that there. It was the other time.
It was the all the same.
That was that monkey top. A lot of monkey was here.
So the 9 persons that you've made here, most of this building would not be occupied because you had far too many rooms just for 9 persons.
Yes. So you had one to a house.
1 to a house on the side.
Yeah, after that, you had male and this, but there was all people then.
We will now pause at this juncture. This is slated to be a 2-part feature of the story of Sandy Point as it relates to the Hanson home. So see you in episode 12. Stay tuned, much more to come.